Good morning, students. In the last class, we are done with the discovery of electron by J.J. Thomson. And before that, the cathode rays were discovered in the discharge tube. Today, we will be talking about the anode rays or canal rays. That means we will be talking about the discovery of proton. In approximately 1886, Goldstein found that the discharge tube contains one more type of rays which were called as the anode rays. He modified the experiment and carried out the experiment as follows. Same way, he took a discharge tube. The discharge tube was connected to a vacuum pump. It had two electrodes, positively charged anode and negatively charged cathode. He found that when the pressure was very low, you know that the pressure approximately 10 to the power minus 2 atmosphere, and a high voltage of 10,000 volts were applied, there were some rays streaming behind the cathode. He took a perforated cathode, a cathode which had holes, and he found that there were some rays which were streaming behind the cathode. He said that these rays are coming from anode, and they pass through these holes, and these rays were found behind the cathode. Since these rays were coming from anode, they were called as anode rays. And since it passed through the holes of the cathode, the holes made in the cathode, they were also called as canal rays. Now he studied the properties of these rays, and he found that these rays travel in a straight line. These rays travel in straight line. Like the cathode rays, these rays consist of material particles. You know, for the cathode rays, an experiment was done when a light pedal wheel was placed in the path, it was rotated. The same happened for the anode rays. So it was inferred that these rays consist of material particles. And it was seen that when an electric field was applied, this is the positive electrode, this is the negative electrode. An electric field is applied outside this tube. These anode rays were deflected towards the negatively charged plate. This showed that they are made up of positively charged particles, or anode rays are positively charged. So on applying the electric field, these rays are deflected towards the negative terminal, showing that anode rays are positively charged. Now, when a magnetic field was applied, same experiment was done for the cathode rays also. A magnetic field was applied, that means the two poles, North Pole and South Pole. So there was a magnet fitted like this. and the deflection of the anode rays was in the direction opposite to that of cathode rays. further proving that they are opposite to cathode rays. That means cathode rays are negatively charged and anode rays are positively charged. So on applying magnetic field, the anode rays deflected in the direction opposite to that of cathode rays, further proving that they are negatively charged. So we have proved that they are negatively charged, they are made up of material particles. Now for electrons, we know that J.J. Thomson determined the charge to mass ratio. Same way, the charge to mass ratio for the anode rays was also determined. And it was found that as I changed the gas inside this discharge tube, the charge to mass ratios changed. Again I am repeating. The charge to mass ratio was determined for the gas inside this tube. And it was found as soon as the gases changed, the charge to mass ratio changed. While in the cathode rays, the rays were independent of the nature of the gas or the material of the cathode used. But anode rays depend upon the gas which is filled in the discharge tube. So we can say charge to mass ratio for anode rays depend upon the nature of gas in discharge tube. So these are some of the properties of the anode rays that was noticed. Now it was found by Goldstein that the charge to mass ratio, when different gases were used, we filled it with hydrogen, we filled it with helium, we filled it with oxygen, nitrogen, different gases. And it was found that the charge to mass ratio, I can represent it by E by M, was maximum for hydrogen gas. The charge to mass ratio was highest for hydrogen gas. So it was considered that the hydrogen gas consists of the lightest positively charged particles, because higher the value means lower will be the mass. So it was considered that the hydrogen gas consists of lightest positively charged particles, and these particles were called protons. Again I am repeating, when the nature of this gas was studied, it was found the nature of this anode rays was studied. It was found that as the gas changed, the charge to mass ratio changed. And the maximum charge to mass ratio was found in the case of hydrogen gas. So it was considered that hydrogen gas consists of lightest positively charged particles, and these particles were called protons. Now let us go in the depth and try to understand what is the origin of cathode and anode rays. Now cathode rays consist of electrons, and these electrons were emitted from the cathode, that is from the metal which made the cathode. The electrons were emitted from it, and when these electrons start moving from cathode, they interact with the gas molecules which are present, the gas that you have filled, they interact with it, and at such a high voltage they ionize the gas. Ionize the gas means if I consider hydrogen gas, H2 is filled at such a high voltage, it breaks into hydrogen atoms, and hydrogen atom, you know, it consists of one proton and electron. So ionize means this electron is removed from it. So this electron constitutes the cathode rays, and the remaining part, this nucleus, which consists of only one proton, it constitutes the anode rays. Now in hydrogen, after removal of electron, only one proton is left. So we consider it has got the smallest mass. So the charge to mass ratio for it is the highest. Now if I consider that the gas filled as oxygen, it breaks into oxygen atoms. Now oxygen atom has got 16 protons. 8 protons, 16 nucleons you can say. 8 protons, 8 neutrons, and this is 2 electron and 6 electron. Now I consider if one of the electron is knocked off from this, one electron comes out. So what is left here? O positive. This O positive forms the anode rays. So obviously when the gas filled is oxygen, the nature of anode rays will be different. Charge to mass ratio will be different because charge is +1, but mass of oxygen, it is 8 times, or I can say 16 times, because it has also got neutrons, more than hydrogen. So its charge to mass ratio will be very less because its mass is high. So anode rays will consist of O positive particles, cations, and the cathode rays will consist of electron. So cathode rays are made up of always electrons, but the anode rays consist of positively charged ions. That are formed when the gas in the discharge tube ionizes. So again I am repeating, cathode rays consist of negatively charged electrons. Electrons are universally present in all the elements, but the anode rays consist of positively charged ions which are formed as a result of ionization of gas. So if the gas is hydrogen, it is this ion which is formed, H positive. If it is oxygen gas, maybe O positive is formed. So nature of anode rays depend upon the nature of the gas filled. The highest value of charge to mass is obtained for hydrogen. So we consider this as the smallest positively charged particle, and it was named as proton, which is much heavier than electron but carries the same charge as that of electron. Thank you.